Oil queues have resurfaced across major cities across Nigeria, and many are wondering why this is happening again. We'll be joined by a representative of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria as we get into the issues around why there is again fuel scarcity in Africa's largest, or at one point, largest crude oil producer. We'll also be staying in Nigeria as we look at the fact that 63% of the country's population are now said to be living in multi-dimensional poverty. What does that mean, and what does it mean for the country's economic development? Those conversations happening today right here on Business Edge. But up first, African business headlines. I'm Tolulope Adeleru-Balogun. Welcome to the show. Ghana's ruling party said it has struck a deal with about two-thirds of its lawmakers to suspend their demand that Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta quit so he can present the nation's annual budget on Thursday. New Patriotic Party legislators had called for Ofori-Atta's dismissal over his perceived failure to deal with the country's economic crisis, adding to pressure from minority lawmakers who are seeking to remove him through a separate parliamentary motion of censure. The finance minister is currently leading negotiations with the International Monetary Fund for a support package of around $3 billion for Ghana to fund its economic program. The party leadership said NPP leaders and lawmakers agreed at a meeting late on Tuesday to suspend their demand for the minister to be dismissed until the passage of the 2023 budget and the conclusion of negotiations with the IMF. South Africa's Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan says the government has identified 50 million litres of diesel to be made immediately available to Eskom from Petro SA as the power utility awaits a more permanent solution to its diesel supply woes. Gordhan was replying questions from MPs during a parliamentary session. Now, last week, Eskom said it overspent its diesel budget and had no more cash to buy new stock until April. Diesel is used to run Eskom's two open gas cycle turbine power plants. Petro SA is not the only supplier of diesel to Eskom, but it provides the power utility with about 60 million litres monthly. The minister said options were identified along with the finance minister for a more permanent solution to the diesel challenge, and these are now being evaluated by the National Treasury team. Malawi's headline inflation continues to rise as it now sits at 26.7%, pushing the cost of living much further up. According to the National Statistical Office, the rate has increased from 25.9% in September to 26.7%. The rising pressure of inflation, which has kept the cost of living surging since September 2021, is the cause of this. Food and non-food inflation rates are at 34.5% and 18.6% respectively, with food inflation being the main driver of rising inflation. Rising prices of oil, fertilizer, and wheat contributed to setting the pace of inflation trend since the onset of the Ukraine war induced global supply chain disruptions. The Reserve Bank of Malawi is projecting annual inflation to average 21.5%. with the Consumer Association of Malawi Executive Director John Capito warning shoppers of the worsening situation ahead. Kenya is set to benefit from a 369.9 billion Kenyan shillings facility from the African Export-Import Bank. Now, this was announced during a meeting between Kenya's President William Ruto and Professor Benedict Oke-Orama, President and Chairman of the Board of Directors of AfriExim. Professor Orama said the bank was excited by the opportunity to roll out this package of financing as part of its efforts to support Kenya as it navigates the current unprecedented global economic challenges. Those are a few headlines we have for you on the African business scene. When we come back, fuel scarcity returns as Nigerian marketers reject supply structure. So what exactly is that structure and why is it a problem? We'll get answers after the break. Across what was up to a few months ago Africa's largest crude oil producer, long lines have resurfaced in Nigeria as fuel scarcity returns to major cities like Lagos, as well as the capital Abuja. This comes just weeks after another round of scarcity of petrol cleared up. And of course, the finger pointing is also on. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, says there are a number of factors that have led to the latest scarcity. And top of that list is the landing cost of petrol. Depot owners have also been implicated in the situation that many Nigerians find themselves in. Some drivers have had to queue for hours or even overnight with no guarantee of getting fuel. And passengers have been left stranded as a result of the situation. Joining me now is the Managing Director, Realink, and the National Public Relations Officer of the Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Ukadike Chinedu. Ukadike, welcome again. Thank you, as always, for joining me on Business Edge.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Okay, good morning, viewers.
Good morning. Yes. So when we spoke a few months ago, one of the main issues you raised was that the members of IPMAN have been unable to get fuel from NNPC depots. So let's start from that. Has the situation regarding supply from NNPC depots changed at all in the current time we are?
Well, this is a very trying period. And if you look at what is going on in NNPC, the onboarding of NNPC, the creation of NNPC trading, the creation of NNPC retail, and all this onboarding and some hiccups in the management of NNPC, NDPR, and PPMC is also some of the little transmissions that are also causing the problem of fuel scarcity in Nigeria. You're also aware that NNPC have gone fully
a limited liability company.
It's a limited liability company. Mm-hmm. It's fully business. He has started acquiring filling stations and all the rest of them. So these are the factors that are also hicking up on the managerial aspect of administration of NNPC.
Okay, so, but you haven't answered the question yet. I still want to know, are your members able to get fuel right now, or PMS, from NNPC depots?
We are not getting fuel adequately.
Okay.
Adequately, I want to use that word, adequately, from NNPC filling stations. You're also aware that NNPC is not solely distributing these petroleum products. NNPC is also giving private and farm owners these petroleum products to also supply because of their strategic nature. Some of the depot owners own their depots around the waterways, around the riverine areas. So some of NNPC facilities are not there. NNPC have most of its facilities at the upland. And because of pipeline vandalization, the inability to use the pipeline to pump petroleum products to those 21 depots of NNPC that is cut across the country, we are now solely dependent on the private and farm owners and even more major marketers to be able to sustain as an independent petroleum marketers association. So okay. NNPC is not adequately, I repeat, giving us petroleum products as required.
Okay, so because of this inadequacy from the NNPC, as you've explained now, your members are looking towards MOMAN as well as private depot owners. But you've also flagged the supply structure, the way they get their PMS, and then, of course, sell it to your members. So take us through that structure, because it's been one that members of your organization who have spoken in recent times have said it's one of the biggest issues that continues to lead to the fuel scarcity. What's the structure? What's the process of getting fuel from these private depots and private owners?
Well, there is what we call, there's a missing link about the structure that most of our members are complaining. NNPC, if they're supposed to give to independent marketers, they're supposed to give us our products in a designated tank farm. Independent marketers to say, this is our designated tank farm, these are designated private owner tank farm, because IPMAN does not have their own private tank farm. But we can also acquire tank farm from tank farm owners. But let our product be put in a platform designated by IPMAN, so that IPMAN can have control of it. IPMAN can sell it to their members at the price stipulated by PPMC and NNPC for marketers. But when you now take this product and you now have what we call another third-tier distribution, which is also the PDOs, that's the private tank farm owners, who in turn will hire a vessel to go and take this product from the mother vessel, put the charges of their tank farm, which is also in dollar, put the charges of NIMASA, put all these charges. By the time you know it, you will find out that this petroleum product will not even land at that tank farm owner at the cost of 145 naira, 50 kobo, that's supposed to be the PPM price. They will also tell you that they incur losses, and they also incur unnecessary expenses, that the product you will buy it at 175. And we want to remain in business as independent marketers. We want to remain in business, and that is why we will be able to, at any particular point in time, at any particular price that has been given to us, we will buy it and go to our station and put just little price to be able to sell to our numerous customers. Because when your station doesn't have products, it affects the market value. It affects the brand of the station.
So in what you're saying now, I've seen some suggestions that one of the ways to end the scarcity that continues to come up is that government should, one, consider credit sales to independent marketers, and then also that the NNPC Limited should restructure the allocation and distribution pattern and separates the independent marketers from the major marketers and depot operators. That's part of the suggestion you're saying here. Do you think that will really address the scarcity?
Yes, it will. It will definitely take care of part of our problems. Part of our problems, we are not directly accessing this petroleum product from PPMC. And since PPMC has gone retail, PPMC is concentrating on their own retail outlets. The independent marketer will be selling PMS at 195 naira, while PPMC outlets, which PPMC have now acquired the whole of Wando, will be selling at 175. That is not competitive market, I want to tell you. To be very sincere. That is why sometimes when you are personal, you say that is scarcity. That is not scarcity. If PPMC is selling at 179 naira per liter, and then independent marketers who is getting this product at 180 is selling at 190 naira per liter, marketers, commuters, or commercial drivers will go and queue at that place. They can be able to buy it at 179. So the market should be open. PPMC are the people that import this product. PPMC are the people that store this product. PPMC distribute this product. PPMC also retail this product. So what is the effect of the independent marketer at this particular point in time? The trade policy is very, very wrong. If we want to do a competitive market, you will first of all liberalize the market so that everybody uses capacity to be able to get whatever it wants to get, and also be able to structure his marketing strategy to be able to get more customers. So sometimes when the PPMC give to their dealers will in turn sell to us. And by that profiteer will continue to suffer.
So as we talk about this now, we know that earlier this year in July, the NNPC Limited approved that the pump price of petrol moved from 165 naira, and as you mentioned now, to about 179 naira, giving some of the marketers just a bit of leeway. But 4 months down the line, that seems to be unsustainable as well. So I'm going to ask you this question in two parts. What do you think is sort of the natural line or the natural level of the pump price of petrol right now? And how much really are IPMAN members able to sell PMS for currently?
Well, IPMAN members, I want to be very sincere, we don't actually set prices. What we do is that when we go to the private tank farm, and the private tank farm owner will tell us that his product is 180, we will buy. If we come tomorrow, the private tank farm owner will say it's 185, we will also buy. Well, we're not building our transportation, building our service charges, which is maybe almost around 10, 11. We're using that heavy fund to be able to just get around 400 to 300,000 naira. And sometimes you also buy diesel to be able to run this your filling stations. We are passing through a lot of things. So the problem we are now facing is that if the NNPC 21 depots are working, and we, the independent marketers, can be able to pay directly to NNPC and go to those 21 depots which are licensed by government, which are known by government, and buy our petroleum product at 145 70 kobo, which was the actual price, the retailing price, the benchmark NNPC says that's supposed to be sold to independent marketers. You understand? There is no cost. Nothing will make us sell product above 165 naira. And once the product is sufficient, once the product is there's adequate supply, I also want to tell you that independent marketers normally, when the product is sufficient, we go down. We even sell sometimes 162, 163 if you go to some filling stations, because we want to make turnover. It is turnover that our bank oppressors. Most of us are doing this business with banking money. There is no energy bank or petroleum bank that give us money at will. Maybe when you finish selling that, you go and pay back. No, you take these funds at the standard commercial rate, and the bank don't want to listen to any of the obligation. Sometimes we pay for petroleum products, it will spend almost 2-3 months. Some tickets are lying funny. Some tickets are applied for over 6 months now. We are above below it. Bank money is being charged, and interest is being charged, and all these things. And at the end of the day, they say, independent marketers are better. Our members will sell as we buy. There's no two ways about it. Okay. We will definitely sell as we buy.
So let me ask this. We've spoken to members of the audience, or rather members of commuters and drivers in Lagos, particularly in Abuja, and they are actually also accusing IPMAN members of hoarding fuel, hoping that they can force the pressure on the government and the price will go up. How do you respond to those who say members of your organization are also hoarding fuel and causing or adding stress to this particular scarcity that's happening now?
It's laughable. I wonder when somebody borrowed money from a bank and he will go and bury the money in stack, hoping the interest will be growing. The interest rate will be, it's just rubbing Peter to paper. At the end of the day, what will you get? We are interested. I want to tell Nigerians today that independent marketers, if not because of some insecurity, we are ready to run our filling stations for 8 hours. We are there. We are service oriented, also profit oriented. We can never in any way hoard petroleum products or for what. We are not speculators. How can we speculate? The essence of speculation is when you're not in business. But if you are selling your product, it's a daily commercial consumption product. Once you open your filling station, people will come in and buy. So it's very simple. There's no way an independent marketer will deliberately get 45,000 liters of petroleum product and store it in a tank and lock it. For what? Are you locking down bank money? Are you locking down money for what? Supposing what you expected didn't work, what will happen? I don't think our members indulge in that. These are just speculations. We don't hoard. But sometimes, some of them will have some technical challenges. Some of their pumps might be, but all these are machines. And in the future to try to fix it, or the generator is bad, to try to fix it, they might stop selling for some few hours. And when commuters come around and the station is not selling, they will start shouting that we are hoarding. How can we hoard? We are open to business. We have credible marketers that are selling. I want to tell you that we have modelized. Even people are bringing pumps that you can now serve yourself. Anytime at any particular point you come to filling station with your card, with your money card or your fuel card, you can serve yourself 48 hours. That is the innovations way the independent marketers are trying to bring after our next meeting yesterday, because the experts are here in Nigeria now, and we are discussing with them. So we want to improve the services.
Okay, so where does the petrol subsidy come in with this situation? We know that Nigeria is estimated to spend anywhere from around 6 trillion naira this coming fiscal year on petrol subsidy alone. So a lot of Nigerians will ask, why am I queuing? Why are we having scarcity issues if there's a subsidy? So where does the subsidy come in play as we see this situation happening right now?
Well, if you remember when we were in the price regime during the time of Ikachukwu,
All right, it seems we have a connection issue there with the PRO of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, Ukadike, Chinedu, and having a conversation on the latest fuel scarcity that's happening in Nigeria. I do believe he's back now. Ukadike, are you back with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay, fantastic. So my question was on the petrol subsidy. So take us through that.
No, what I'm trying to stipulate that let there be subsidy. What the federal government is passing through with the dollar exchange in Nigeria, there is no way fuel can be sold in Nigeria for less than 400 naira per liter. There is no way fuel can be sold in Nigeria less than 400 naira per liter. And the panacea to this problem is for the federal government of the Republic of Nigeria to declare a state of emergency in our 4 refineries. If it's possible, give the MDs of these refineries and the workers of these refineries a mandate, a marching order in 3 months, that if these refineries, you put them on redundancy. I think something better will come. I think there is a cabal that is into this importation of petroleum products that have decided that this refineries will not work. Why are we talking about importing petroleum products? Why we have refineries here in Nigeria? Why are we talking about petroleum products, importing petroleum products? We are talking about dollar. We are using heavy naira to go and chase few dollars to import a product, the crude oil that is even explored in our country, to go and refine somewhere. Just like when you have rice in your house, you give it to someone, the person will take it to his own house, cook it for you, put stew, then bring it like they do in Mr. Biggs, and you pay 4,000. Why you can be able to put that rice in your house and be able to save a lot of money at the cost of 600 naira. So what are we talking about?
And that question is one many Nigerians have. So Ukadike, before I let you go, there's one other thing I want us to touch on. Now, aside from the scarcity that's happening now, those in the industry are warning about the consequences of a tax. The Finance Act of 2020 says that marketers have to pay 0.05% from their gross turnover by the end of this year. So is that going to be a tax that affects IPMAN members, and how?
Well, you see, sometimes when I was laughing at you when you say IPMAN members, where the tax is going to affect IPMAN members, the tax will also affect you. But whatever is being taxed to IPMAN members will trickle down the line. It will just trickle down definitely. There is no way a tax of 0.5% will be imposed on marketers, that marketers will not also not put it in the price of the petroleum product, so that me and you can also pay it. So if it is not about marketers, this is what Nigerians as consumption hub will be able to say, no, we would anything that will increase petroleum products, anything that all these taxes, why are we paying the master charges on in dollar? Why are we paying NPA charges in dollar? Can't we use naira? All these things. These are the critical policies that government need to put in place to be able to checkmate unnecessary increase in petroleum products. Whatever happened in the financial industry today, I want to mark it, that definitely it will have adverse effects on the consumption of domestic petroleum products and distribution in this country. Now, diesel is 800 something naira. Whatever transportation an independent marketer pays by taking his products from one particular depot to a particular depot B, and that cost will also be built into what the consumers at any particular filling stations will also pay. Both those that is buying kerosene, those that is buying gasoline, and also those that is buying fuel. So it is not the issue of marketers. It is the issue of the whole Nigerian. Because petroleum product is a general commodity that both the big, small, tall, fat, fair uses in this country.
All right, before I let you go, how long do we anticipate that this scarcity will last? How long should Nigerians brace for when it comes to this particular scarcity we're experiencing now?
Well, for us, the independent marketers and other stakeholders like the NUPEN, the PPMC, like the NUPEN, the NATO and all the rest of them, I can be able to reassure you that all the stakeholders are ready to work tirelessly to ensure that things normalize in this country. But for the supply chain, which is solely done by an NPC, with all these intricacies of onboarding, rebranding, buying, expanding, and all the rest of them, because within this transition period, there will be a drift in terms of exchange, handing over, and all the rest of them. We will experience a little hiccups in terms of buying petroleum products at our filling station. But it's not been much because the management of NNPC, as yesterday, have reassured us that there is another vessel that have entered this country, and that vessel will be able to take care of some of these challenges we are having. Another challenge I also want to bring to the purview is that there are policemen, army officers that keep on disturbing petroleum tanker drivers.
Harassment, yes.
Keep on extorting money from them.
Yeah.
And some tax keep on extorting money from them. All these things also are factors. So all these security agencies that keep on flagging vehicles, I also want to use this opportunity to appeal to the Inspector General of Police to ensure that some of these policemen that are on the road, stopping tanker drivers, harassing them, extorting money from, you should allow them. This is year-to period. We want to ensure that within this festival period, there is nothing like scarcity. Nigerians will enjoy their holidays at any particular part of the country. I stand to be challenged that the independent marketers are the only association that have petrol stations all over the crucial corners of the country. So it is very, very important that assistance should be given to this association to be able to ensure that petroleum products is distributed nationwide.
All right, Ukadike Chinedu, thank you so much for joining me, the Managing Director of Realink, as well as the National Public Relations Officer of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. As Nigerians are facing fuel scarcity once again, we'll continue to have this conversation with you as more things develop. And moving things right along, as he said, some good news, NNPC telling marketers and also industry analysts that there is a vessel that has entered, and hopefully there will be a loosening up of some of the fuel queues we've been seeing in recent days. But beyond that, a number of factors, the landing costs, extortion and harassment has also been flagged. We've also had the situation of road situations as well in terms of what has affected how petroleum is moving across Nigeria. Now, before we head to the international business news, News Central's Bernard Akede has been covering the recurring fuel queues. Here's the story.
For the umpteenth time this year, residents of Lagos are facing long queues at fuel stations, spending productive man-hours waiting to purchase petrol. Just as it happened in times past, the queues suddenly appear with no explanation as to why petrol is in short supply.
We've been here more than an hour now. We don't even know the reason, and these people now stop selling. We don't know why they stop. They have fuel and they are not selling. We don't know why. Maybe it's the marketer that did not supply, or they have. We don't know what is, or they want to increase. Maybe that's what people are suggesting.
I've been here since 7:30. Since 7:30 and up to now, this is 10 minutes after 11, if I'm not mistaken. All what they have been saying since, they say scarcity of fuel, and I don't know. According to my own point of view, I think maybe the reason why we're having this issue is due to the election coming up next year.
While some stations sell from only 1 or 2 pumps, others remain completely shut, leaving some consumers with no choice but to patronize black market sellers. While the reason for the shortage remains unclear, all consumers want is for petrol to be available as normal.
Diesel no day, gas no day, kerosene no fit buy, charcoal, wahala, firewood. You know if you use that for landlord, you don't even see firewood. Which one one way could do? Like if when at some place I say that they sell am 200 naira per liter, make you even see, make you buy, make you come out. Since morning, since 7 o'clock now we dey here. Sell our motor for back.
A marketer who chose to remain anonymous said some of the possible reasons for the scarcity could be the ex-depot price, the logistics, the Yuletide rush, unusual increasing demand, profiteering, as well as other factors that are familiar to Nigerians, including the recent fluctuation in the dollar price at the forex market.
I don't know what is causing the crisis, in short. But what I think, because according to the news, maybe it's importing and exporting of fuel.
Whatever the reason for the recurring scarcity, the hope of most Lagosians is for this discomfort to disappear as quickly as it appeared, as this is a recurring decimal they never want to get used to. Bernard Akede, reporting for News Central.
And for several years, Nigerians were always bracing for these fuel scarcity queues to come back around the Yuletide end of the year season, but that seemed to have tapered out. But in recent times, there have been a number of scarcities experienced this year, this possibly being the 3rd or 4th one that Nigerians have experienced this year. A number of factors, as we said, logistics is part of it. Of course, the depot price coming in, the fluctuation in the dollar, even the amount in which these owners, independent petroleum marketers associations and others, have to collect the fuel from those involved. And at the end of the day, the NNPC, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, now says that it is bringing in fuel and it is working on addressing the issues. You're watching Business Edge. Up next is International Business Headlines.